I am giddy to film today's video. I am so excited to chat with you today because we are talking all things transitioning from one kid to two kids, which is something I have been, going through for the past year. Can you believe my second is almost a full year old? She'll be 1 in March, and it has gone insanely fast. Like, it doesn't feel fair, but at the same time, when I look back at the past year, I'm like, wow, I have learned and grown so much as a mom, and there's just so many things I wish that I knew a year ago. And when I was pregnant with my second, I spent so much time looking at videos just like this one and just trying to kind of anticipate like what was to come, how I could prepare, what were the things I needed. So this video is for all of you who are preparing to have your second or eventually want to add a second to your family. These are the tips and the tricks, the must-haves, the things I wish I would have known. I'm giving it all to you. If you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe. My name is Emma, and I make all kinds of Christian motherhood content, faith content, lifestyle, mom things. Make sure you subscribe and follow along, and also go follow me on all my socials. I have Instagram, I have TikTok. Go follow me everywhere. Before we get into it, I did want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Ana Luisa. I'm sure you've heard of them before, but Ana Luisa is where I find all of my favorite staple jewelry pieces. If you watch my videos, then you know that I am always wearing my gold hoops and I always have all my rings on, and so many of my favorite everyday pieces are from Ana Luisa. I love them because they are super affordable. I am not going to break the bank, but I'm also going to get very sustainable and long-lasting and high-quality pieces. I have found that when I am trying to stay on a good budget and find pieces that are more affordable, I am usually going to compromise the quality, and they'll usually tarnish and get super old over time, and so then I have to replace them anyway, so it's not actually saving me any money. But with Ana Luisa, I don't have that problem because they're super affordable, but they are also going to last me a long time. They are sustainable, they're great quality, they are also hypoallergenic, and they are sustainable. And my favorite thing might be that they are water resistant, because I am a busy mom and I do not take off my jewelry when I'm doing the dishes and I'm giving the kids baths and I'm washing my hands 700 times a day, because I change 700 diapers a day, and I don't have to worry that they're going to tarnish and get old. They are water resistant. This is the ring that I just picked up from Ana Luisa. I think it is so cute. Very simple, but it's so pretty. I just am a sucker for a gold ring. This is another ring from Ana Luisa. This is one that I wear every single day. You guys have seen this before because I literally wear this rope ring all the time, and you guys are always asking me where it's from, and it is also from Ana Luisa, and I've had it for 6 months now, maybe a little bit more, and I still wear it every single day. And then these earrings are also Ana Luisa. I love a gold hoop. They are just my everyday staple. They also offer fast and free shipping anywhere in the US, and they have a 2-year warranty on all of their products. I feel like jewelry is the best and easiest way to just elevate your outfit a little bit. I may not put on the cutest outfit every single day as a stay-at-home mom, but I will be putting on all my favorite jewelry pieces every single day because it really makes such a difference. You can shop my favorite long-lasting affordable jewelry pieces down below. I will have the link at the top of the description box for you, and you can get up to 25% off. The more that you buy, the more that you save. So go check them out. I will have them down below, and thank you so much again to them for sponsoring another video. Okay, hope you got your coffee. I hope you're comfy because I'm ready to talk. I have so many things to share, you guys. I hope this video isn't an hour long, but also I really just want this to be like we are a couple of gals getting coffee and just chatting, because I didn't really have anyone to prep me on the 1 to 2 transition. A lot of my friends either have no kids or they only have one, and so I was the first of a lot of my friends to have this transition from 1 to 2, and so I feel like I was kind of sink or swim, like figuring it out, and I didn't know what I was doing. And you know what, none of us do, but I was convinced before I had my second that everyone else that had done this was older than me, wiser than me. It's kind of like when you're a teenager and you look at people in their 30s and you're like, oh, they're like the real adults, they have it figured out. And then you reach 30s, I'm not there yet, but I can assume this is what's gonna happen, and you're like, I'm an adult but I still don't have it figured out, and no one knows what they're doing when they go from 1 to 2 kids. And that was really relieving for me to see, like, I am not the first person in the world to do this transition, and I will not be the last, and none of us knew what we were doing. That's your first encouragement. One of the biggest questions that I get asked is which transition was harder for me, 0 to 1 or 1 to 2. And this is my second piece of encouragement for you. 0 to 1 was so much harder because you go from, I mean, it's an entire life change, right? Like, you go from just being a normal person doing your own thing to suddenly like surrendering and laying down every part of your life, every minute of your day. I feel like that's the hardest part And you're already in the swing of like surrendering your whole day to another human being when you have one kid. And so yes, it is hard to add, you know, another kid and another set of responsibilities, another schedule, another mouth to feed, but you already are in the swing of being a mom. You already know what it takes, and you're already used to, let's be honest, being sleep deprived, putting other people's needs before yourself. Like all these things that were hard for me in the 0 to 1 transition, that was not a thing in the 1 to 2 transition. I already had that figured out. I also just uploaded a very detailed day in my life with 2 kids to show you all that that entails, because that's something I was really looking for when I was preparing too, was like, what time do I do this? What is my actual like daily schedule and routine going to look like with 2 kids? How do you go back and forth and balance it all? And what does a normal day look like with 2 kids? So I just filmed and uploaded that for you. So I will link that for you as well. Definitely recommend going and checking that out, because that's a video I made for like my past self that I never really found. So after you listen to this rant, go watch that video too, because I think it will be really helpful. Okay, I'm gonna get into my tips, but I just want to encourage you with one more thing. When you only have one kid, it is really hard to imagine how you're gonna do that transition. It's really hard to picture like, what is my day actually gonna look like? What are my routines gonna be? How am I gonna balance this and juggle this all? I need you to think back to when you were about to have your first, and all of the fears and worries that you had about how in the world you were going to handle a kid and motherhood. Look at how far you have come since then, okay? Give yourself the credit you deserve. You figured it out, you learn as you go, and that is exactly what you will do again. You figure it out. Yes, there are things I'm going to share with you and practical tips, but like, you will figure it out. So don't freak out. There's your little pep talk, your little encouragement that you can handle it. It is not going to be that bad. Even if it's hard, it's not going to be bad. Okay? Those are not the same thing. Here are my practical tips for you. Are you ready? Number 1, you have to get up first. Trust me, if you don't have a good morning routine, you need to figure that out now. And in those early days, I did not get up early. I did not wake up before my kids, but now that I'm out of like those sleepless nights, you have to get up before them. There's no excuse. Like, I'm gonna be super tired whether I hit snooze for another 30 minutes or wake up on time. Honestly, like, you're just perpetually tired now, but you're gonna regret it if you don't wake up early. I have never ever regretted getting up before my kids, even if that's getting up at 5 a.m., which it is for me. You're gonna be a more well-rounded mom when you give yourself 20 minutes first thing in the morning. I have a morning routine up on my channel where I talk about this, and I also just uploaded a quiet time routine of what my mornings look like when I sit before the Lord before my kids wake up. This is crucial, you guys. You have to have a little bit of time before your kids wake up, because you spend your whole day pouring out, and you have to fill up first before you can pour out, okay? Don't hold yourself to the same expectation of who you were with one kid. You're not going to be as productive as you were with one kid. Lower your expectations for yourself, because otherwise you're going to feel very frustrated. You're going to feel behind. You're going to feel overwhelmed. That's something I really struggled with, and I still do sometimes, is I still fall into the old habits of like when I had one kid, what my days would look like and how productive I could be, because I had one and she was a little bit older. That's not a thing anymore, okay? You're going to have to adjust your expectations accordingly. You will have pockets of time to do things still, and you will find your new routines, but it is not going to look like it did before, and that's okay. This is something I wish that I would have known way earlier. Involve your first, don't distract them. I spent the first several months just trying to distract my toddler while I took care of the baby, whether it was while I rocked her for a minute to sleep, or while I was nursing her, or I needed to like wash some bottles or something. I was always trying to distract my first and get her entertained in a way, and that usually led to me using screen time. And there's nothing wrong with screen time. I think especially in those first couple of months, like all my screen time rules went out the window in postpartum, and I don't regret that because I needed the help. But my life got significantly easier when I started involving my toddler in what I was doing, instead of trying to like get them to do something else. Because your toddler wants to be with you. They want to see what's happening. They want to be involved. And so it takes 10 times more effort to like try to keep them away and out of the way, as opposed to just having them help you and be involved. Quick example is in the early days when I had to rock my baby to sleep still for a good amount of time before I could put her down, I would put on a movie or something for Jordan. Then she got into the habit of every single time mom goes in that nursery to rock Hallie, I get to watch a movie, and that was a really hard habit to break. Eventually, when I did break it, I started just having her come with me, and she just sat in the rocking chair with me, and she had a little book, or she'd have a Barbie with her, and I would rock Hallie, and we would both be sitting together rocking her, and she loved it. All she wanted was just to be involved. I didn't have to throw on a movie. It was so sweet, and I always thought, like, I wish I would have known this and done this sooner. She can just join me in what we're doing. She can sit by me while I nurse the baby. She can make dinner with me while I wear the baby. This is another crucial one, especially for your first, is to give each kid at least 10 minutes of uninterrupted playtime every single day. Obviously, if you can give them more than 10 minutes, that's ideal, but sometimes that's really hard to do, and I'm talking like no sibling, no phones, no TVs, literally just you and that child, uninterrupted playtime together. I am giving them each half of my attention at any given time, right? Both of my kids have benefited significantly when I set aside that time every single day to give them one-on-one attention. And again, this is no distractions, no phones, no sibling, like just me and that kid. And that is hard to find sometimes, but there's always at least a little window of 10 minutes here and there. There's always some time where one of the kids is napping and the other isn't, or when my husband gets home from work, I'll take one of them with me. And it really, really makes a difference, just filling up their cup and their quality time. This is similar, but take your first on dates. One Saturday a month, I take Jordan, my toddler, out and we go on some kind of date together, whether it's a breakfast date or I take her out to dinner with me or we just have a little girls' day. My husband Michael also has one Saturday a month where he gets a date with Jordan too. And soon we'll start doing this with Hallie too. We'll give her her own Saturday. She's just a little too young to like sit at a restaurant with us, obviously, but this is so crucial because again, just filling up their quality time cup is amazing for them. It's mutually beneficial. She gets one-on-one attention, but I also get that one-on-one time with my first because it can be kind of hard to go from like spending every second of your day with just one kid to having two that you're now having to constantly bounce back and forth between. Your mom guilt can really start to spiral and you can start to feel a little bit sad and guilty, and you shouldn't. That's a tangent for another day. I can't even like go down that rabbit hole because this video will actually be 10 years long. Going on dates with your first and then setting aside uninterrupted playtime every single day will really make a difference for both of you. The next one is to ask people for help. I am so bad at this. In the early days, people, they're really good at saying, let me come over and take the baby or let me take the toddler out. But obviously as your baby gets older, people stop offering. And that's when you need to ask, because it doesn't just magically like fall into place and get easy when they turn a month old. Because newsflash, my baby is now 10 months old and I still need help every day. Today, for example, my sweet in-laws took my toddler for the whole morning and just gave her one-on-one attention. They took her out to play, they took her on a lunch date, and it was so helpful. And all you have to do is ask. And I know not everyone has a village, but even if that's like asking your partner, hey, I really need to like run to the store and just spend 20 minutes by myself at the end of the day for a break. Whatever it might be, like ask people for help. It's hard when that help stops getting offered, but that doesn't mean people don't care. People just go back to their lives and kind of forget that you just had a baby, especially if they've never been through the transition. Like I said, a lot of my friends have 0 kids or only had 1 kid. And so just like being honest and like setting boundaries, nobody knows exactly what you are struggling with or what you're walking through, and so you have to like vocalize that to people and not feel bad about setting boundaries for your time or asking people for help with specific things. It takes humility and I struggle with it still sometimes, but it will really help you. This is kind of a productivity tip because like I mentioned earlier, you are just not going to have the same level of motivation and productivity throughout the day. You just don't have as much free time. So something that's been super helpful for me to not feel overwhelmed and still be productive is to pick one priority for each day. I heard this quote and it has really changed my whole mindset this year, that you cannot be everything at once. You cannot make a gourmet home cooked meal and have a spotless house and spend wonderful one-on-one quality time with your kids and go do fun things and be the fun mom and like be adventurous today and take some time for self-care and do some work from home. And, like, you can't do everything at once. And so I like to pick one priority for each day. Some days that is, I'm not worrying about the house, I'm not worrying about the to-do list, we're getting out and we're gonna just have fun today. Some days that is, we're staying at home and they're gonna need to be a little bit more independent because there's a lot of cleaning to do. Some days it's, I'm asking for somebody to watch one or both of the girls so that I can knock out this kind of work. Picking one priority and focus of the day is really, really helpful for my brain. And then I can say, okay, I did this one thing today. Not everything's got done, but that's literally never going to happen. You are never going to get everything done in a day. Along the lines of productivity is to stay on top of things. You are no longer going to have 2 hours a day to clean your whole house. This was a really hard transition for me, was having one kid that would take a 2 to 3 hour nap a day, and I knew I could have that time to do a ton of stuff. Like, let's be honest, that's so much time. That has never been back. Like, I will never get that chunk of time again. Now that time is just spread out throughout my day, and I get 5 to 10 minutes here and there sprinkled throughout my day, and that's when you have to just constantly stay on top of things. Your life will be so much easier. I do not let dishes sit in my sink. When I'm making breakfast or dinner or lunch, I will immediately clean everything up and wash the dishes or put them in the dishwasher. I do a load of laundry every single day, whether it's mine or my girls or the bedding or the towel, whatever it might be. Do one a day, and when it's done in the dryer, go put it away. It takes you 5 minutes, but when you let heaps and piles of laundry just sit there, it's going to take you forever, and you don't have that kind of time anymore. You have 5 to 10 minutes, so you better be leaving 5 to 10 minutes amount of work. If you leave an hour's worth of a deep clean, you're never gonna get it done, and then it's just gonna get worse. So I will fold laundry while my girls are playing with me, or I will have my toddler help me wipe down the windows. Little pockets throughout your day will keep you on top of things, and it also helps you feel less overwhelmed. And then my last tip is just a couple of things that I feel like made my life transitioning from 1 to 2 so much easier. If a friend texted me and said, what are your must-haves for having 2 kids? This is what I would tell her. Number 1, you need to have safe spaces to put down your baby. Your toddler is going to be a toddler. They're going to need you to wipe their booty. They're going to need you to get them dressed. They're going to need your help with something. They're going to need your attention. And so you're going to need a place to be able to set down your baby safely and walk away from them constantly throughout your day. That's going to change as they grow. In the early days, that was the Snuggle Me lounger or the baby swing or those little bouncer seats. Those are great. I didn't have that with Jordan, my first, because I didn't really need it. Hallie sat in that little bouncer seat multiple times throughout the day, every single day for the first like 6 months of her life, because I always was needing to like walk away to help the toddler, and that's just how it works. Now that I have a 10-month-old, obviously she has outgrown all of those things. So in this stage where she is a busy bee, she is crawling, she's pulling up on things, she's eating everything in sight. Do you know how many times a day I pull dog food out of that girl's mouth? Too many. I need safe spaces for her around the house for when inevitably I need to put her down to do something. So right now the things that I use are a playpen. If you don't have one of those, they are really great. Especially for that age when they're crawling everywhere and they're getting everything. I just zip her up in there. I call it her cage and I give her some toys, and sometimes the toddler will go in there and play with her too, which is really nice because they can just like be together in a safe space, and I know she can't escape. I also love the stander. We have the skip hop stander that turns into like an activity table, and that is worth every penny. That's great too. And then of course like baby gating her in the kitchen with me. The next must have for me is a baby carrier, because again, you just need to be able to watch your baby and hold your baby while helping the toddler. It's just inevitable and can be super overwhelming. And so in those early days, a baby carrier saved my life. I love the Wild Bird aerial carrier. It is my #1 must-have. I wish I would have had it with Jordan. It is incredible. I'll have all this linked down below, obviously. Also, the wrap was really great for the early days. I had the Solly wrap. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I miss my baby wearing days so much. Hallie absolutely hates being put in the carrier now because she just wants to move. But in the first 6 months of her life or so, the carriers made my life so much easier, especially for those early days when they just want to be held to sleep. You can't just lock yourself in a dark room for 2 hours a day, multiple times a day, when you have a toddler running around. So that's where the wraps come in really handy. The next thing is a good double stroller. As I'm telling you these things, I'm realizing everything I'm sharing is like expensive. And here's the thing, I'm a cheap mom. Like, you guys know, well, maybe you don't know, maybe you're newer. I'm a cheap mom, okay? I'm on a budget, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but all these things are so worth your investment because they are going to make your life better. I had the Mockingbird double stroller, which was not cheap. That still cost me a pretty penny, and I hated it. I got the Zoe double stroller. I'll have that down below too. I think my link will get you like $15 off, which is not a lot, but like it's $15. I was so thankful that Zoe sent me the stroller. But even if they would not have, I would go spend every penny on that stroller because the amount of use I've got out of it, how easy it is, how lightweight it is, and both my girls love it. Worth every stinking penny. You need a good double stroller for when you take them both to the zoo or you take them to the park or you want to just get out. You need something that's not going to like overstimulate you, be super heavy that you can't push it. There is nothing worse than that. This stroller is so easy. It's so good. It's worth every penny. I'm sorry to tell you. Also, because I'm looking at it, I will link the double monitor that we have down below. It's literally like a cheap Amazon brand, but it was like $100, maybe less than $100. Her camera's on the ground, but I like this one because it has the split screen, and then at the top it like will go back and forth from each room every like 5 seconds or so, the sound will. So this is what I have on at night, but you can also switch it to one camera at a time. It's really good. Those are the only like big things I can think of in terms of must-haves for the transition. I definitely have plenty of baby favorites, but I have a whole page on my Amazon storefront of baby favorites that I can link to. Those are like my specific having 2 kids products that really made my life better. That was a lot. Let me leave you on this. You are gonna do great, okay? You're probably freaking out. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're confident as ever. I was freaking out. It is hard, but it is good. Hard is not the same as bad. It is hard, but it is so worth it when you see your kids interact with each other. There is truly nothing like it, and I would do it a million times over for that moment. And you are giving your oldest the best gift you will ever give them. So don't feel guilty about splitting your time, and don't feel guilty about taking anything away from your first, because trust me when I tell you, you are giving them the best gift. Now that we're almost a year out, watching my girls play together is the best thing in the whole world. They, from the very beginning, like my toddler has loved her baby sister more than anything in the whole world. They both reciprocate it. They both make each other laugh more than anyone else. Like the smiles they give each other, the belly laughs, the way they play together. I would do it a million times again for that. It's so worth it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you are not already for all my future videos, and also don't forget to check out my Ana Luisa link, and you can get up to 25% off. The more that you purchase, the more that you save. So click the link down below, and thank you so much to them again for sponsoring this video. I will see you guys in the next one.